Whether you're in North or South Carolina or anywhere else in the world, enter the Cat Cave with D. White and Shannon Smith, a part of the Keep Pounding Podcast Network powered by the Fans First Sports Network, where you can find shows such as Winning the Division and Inside the Vault. And don't forget, Believe in Panthers with our very own Desmond Johnson as he co-hosts with Panther legend Jonathan Stewart. Welcome back to the Cat Cave. We are live one more time on another Wednesday. Of course, you're joined by Shannon Smith, aka Podcast Smitty, represent Western North Carolina, next to the Beast from the Northeast North Carolina, D. White, my brother. What's going on?
Yep. Not much. Enjoying this good Panther practice football almost there. I'm super excited. I'm happy.
Oh man, we are inside 48 hours
hmm
until Panthers football will be on TV. Got the Cleveland Browns on Friday, 7 o'clock. Looking forward to seeing some Panthers football. Of course, this past weekend we had more practices, and of course, we had FanFest this past weekend. So, a lot of great stuff, a lot of great looking at this Panthers roster that will soon be sharpened down to 53 players very, very soon. Of course, we've got the upcoming game on Friday, and we'll be doing a little bit more of recapping FanFest, recapping practices from this past week. Had a few things go on in Panther land here. So I'll go ahead and throw it to D. We'll go ahead and begin. We'll go back and forth talking about what we're going to see. And then, of course, we'll wrap it up with the Panthers playing the Cleveland Browns on Friday. So, D, let's go ahead and get it, man. Go ahead.
All right, man. So first off, good to be back. Good to have some good Panther football. See them hitting other people besides each other. Um, Lately we've noticed the Panthers came out with their first depth chart. Got some pretty obvious choices, but we got some head scratchers too. First team offense, you got T Mac, Tedero McMillan, Adam Thielen, Ikem Ekwonu, Damian Lewis, Austin Corbett, Robert Hunt, Taylor Moton, Jatavion Sanders, Xavier Legette, Bryce Young, and Chuba Hubbard. Not surprised with that at all. The real problems or real concerns came mostly on defense. Um, Obviously, Pat Jones, he's somebody we coveted when during free agency. Ashawn Robinson, Bobby Brown, the third, Derek Brown, DJ Wanham, Trevin Wallace, Christian Roseboom, Mike Jack, J.C. Horn, Travon Merrick, and Nick Scott as the other safety. So, I mean, based on that, I mean, there any obvious surprises or anybody you already knew was kind of a lot?
I would probably say this is a pretty cut and dry roster that we have here. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. I didn't see. I like what we're looking at right now. Let's hope it transfers into this season to some wins. Hopefully that it does that. But I'm liking a lot of this offense here. This offense looks very, very good. On paper, it does. We play football
Mhm.
games on the field instead on paper. But as of right now, looking at this squad, looking at what we have here, I like the interior line. Brown and Brown right there. I like that. That sounds really, really good. Good to see Derek Brown back into the lineup. Good to see that. Wanting to see what this defensive backfield looks like.
Mhm.
That's what I'm wanting to see on this defense. That's something that we have to get better at. I want to see if that 100 mil is what it is in JC Horn, which, by the way, glad that he's okay after his accident that he had on the way to practice. Glad that he's all right, nothing major. One thing that we have to be careful with right there, JC Horn has had some injuries over a little bit of time that he's been in the NFL. Not looking for any more injuries, considering the fact he's one of the highest paid corners in the NFL this year. Want to make sure that he is on the field and an integral part of this defense, which is what we're looking to see. Also, too, I'm looking for this offense to manufacture points. That's one of the things that we have to do. This offense has been adding pieces. Receiver help. Great job in the draft this year. This is something that we're looking to see. We got to score points. Got to be a playable football team. We got the line. There's receivers out there. There's playmakers on the squad, which we have seen in our practices, which we've seen at FanFest, which we're looking to see this season. So, with that being said, we've got our depth chart. Work in progress, of course. We all know what the preseason is for. The preseason is to figure out who's going to be where, who's going to stay, and who's going to go. So that's the main thing that we're looking at here in this preseason. Now, as we have that, anything else? Anything more?
Yeah, I mean, we've had some pretty spirited practices. Lathan Ransom, one of our recent draft picks, is looking really good. Behind him, we had Damani Richardson was looking good. Of course, Trayvon Merrick's looking good. I mean, that defensive backfield is coming together really nicely. It's looking like they have the pieces that can play together and be somewhat, at least a little bit better than they were last year. They have hope. They have young players that look like they know what they're doing. So I'm hoping big things from there. But other than that,
All right.
no sir.
Good, good. Now, there were some things that I took note of. Of course, FanFest was happened this weekend. Had a good FanFest, great time. This is a chance for Carolina Panther fans and also too those who are fans of football to see what they're going to see out of these Carolina Panthers this year. Now, there were some notes that I took. Of course, I watched video. I wasn't there, sadly. Had family in from around the state and also in the southeastern part of our state. I got family in different places. They were all here at my house. Had a good time, had fun with them. It was great. So didn't get to see FanFest, but there was some notes that I took from what I've seen from FanFest, what I've read on FanFest. One of the biggest notes, and I want to get your opinion on this as well too, is also too with those who are viewing, is that when it comes down to this offense, Dave Canales plans on playing Bryce and the starters in the first two preseason games of this preseason. So I look at that also too because last year Bryce didn't have a lot of reps in the preseason. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that there are people out there that, oh, it's preseason. It ain't much of anything. It ain't nothing. You don't really get to see all the starters in preseason. You don't. But also, too, with this hindsight being 2020, Bryce not getting a lot of reps in the preseason, what happens to him in the first three games? He doesn't play very good football. He gets benched later on. He has to sit, he has to watch, he has to observe. This time around, Dave Canales has decided he's going to play these starters. He's going to play these players. Any concern, D? You feel concerned?
Yes and no. So I don't think anybody necessarily, most of us didn't think Bryce was going to have that type of fall off to begin his second year. I'm a big believer that preseason is for middle to end of the bench roster guys to either play themselves on the field or show that they can be of use somewhere else in the NFL. Um, I think Bryce, regardless of him getting reps, I mean, getting reps is always good. It's your first time getting in NFL reps for that season. Shake the rust off, get your head on, all that good stuff. But also with Dave Canales, with it being his first year last year, again, nobody expected Bryce to have that fall off. You drafted a player number one overall. You're expecting him to play like a pretty good player, and it just didn't work out. So I think that he had an opportunity to see more, like I said, middle to end of the bench guys to kind of gauge where this roster was behind that. And even then, we could see it wasn't really pretty. Um, I'm not necessarily mad that Bryce didn't get a lot of it. I mean, we're mad that we didn't see him because obviously you want to see, your investment. But it didn't bother me so much that he didn't play in preseason. It bothered me more so that when he did get in the game, it was just still overwhelming for him, just same as it was his first year. Now, I think that was going to happen regardless if he played in preseason or not, because it's still a first year head coach. But I mean, tomato, tomato, we can't change it. I'm glad we get to see him this year. He looks more comfortable. He looks more confident. He has a great host of receivers he can throw to and benefit from his resurgence. It looks like. So I mean, it preseason for the fans, we're gonna be excited just to see him in that number 9 jersey on the field. Whether it's a win or a loss, he's gonna play maybe one or two drives and be good.
I like that there. Me, on the other hand, when it comes down to playing preseason, I like the fact that he's getting reps. I like the fact that he's getting a little bit of exposure. But sometimes, you know, I'm pretty sure Dave Canales knows when to put him in and when not to put him in, as well as these other starters as well too. There's a risk going out on that football field when it comes down to injury, physical sport. We know. But one thing that I do look at as well is that Bryce is going to get a chance to play preseason, get some reps under his belt. Same with this offense. You've got some young guys out there. Remember, we still have youth at our receiver spots. Jimmy Horn Jr. We still got Ted coming in there. Also, to Jalen Coker, Jatavian Sanders. We've got young guys out there, and I think the best way for them to get acclimated is if they go out there and they play, whether it's preseason or not. This is not just Bryce as a young player. This offense as a whole is a young offense. So there are players that need more exposure. You got rookies playing this year, so you've got guys in there that are earning their spots. And you're right, it is middle to end of the bench players to get themselves onto a 53-man roster. Understandable. But in the case of the Panthers, you've got a young squad. And also, too, you've got a fairly young system as well, too, that has to be learned. This Dave Canales' second year. This is good for him to employ a system to get these guys acclimated into playing. So this is something that I do like. The risk of injury is going to be there. It doesn't matter if you play one down or 51 downs. There's always going to be a risk of injury. There's always going to be something like that, which we don't want. But also, too, at the end of the day, having a prepared football team is the best thing, and that's going to win you games, is being prepared. Another
Right.
note that I took as well, too, is the kicking game. Now, undrafted rookie kicker Ryan Fitzgerald went 1 for 3 in field goals in FanFest. So that is a little alarming. He and Ryan
Mm-hmm.
Wright will have to earn the job at the
Matthew.
kicking position. Now, one thing that has to be understood is there are going to be times where the game is going to be nip and tuck.
Mhm.
where the game is going to be tough, and you're going to have to bring that kicker out there. And my man's going to have to either kick it in there for the win, or the overtime, or the lead. And it's tough. Being a kicker is
Yeah.
tough. That clutch kick is going to make or break you. So, any alarm coming from this?
My same answer. After thinking about it, yes and no. One, we got to still remember he is a rookie, an undrafted rookie. He's a kicker. Um, so yes, there's a little bit of concern because you don't want his confidence to take a hit. But at the same time, it is a glorified practice. I mean, FanFest is awesome. It's great. We love it, but we can't discount the fact that this is his first time in a new home with fans in the stadium watching him do something. There's going to be a little nerve, anything involved when you got a whole bunch of people watching you. Now, what I don't want to see is us get another kicker, let him go, and then he goes to Kansas City and wins the Super Bowl again. I'm tired of having kickers that we get from other teams and they're just recycled. We need a kicker. I mean, start young, stick with them, do whatever you need. I'm not against Matthew, right? But I mean, we had a lot of confidence in Ryan Fitzgerald. Let's not let that go away. Let's not forget that he was a great kicker at Florida State, that he was kicking bombs out to 55 yards. He had bad practices. Every kicker has bad practices. And a lot of his misses was on the skinny goals, which would have still been made on a regular field goal. So I'm like, he's a rookie. Give him a chance. Let him settle down, calm down. He'll be good. That's my take. What about you?
So, we always talk about quarterbacks and their mentality and their
Mhm.
confidence being wrecked. Kickers can have their confidence wrecked as well too, and it could be a different career for them, a different side of the game for a kicker or a quarterback. It's different. It's tough out there going with that kick. Of course, they call that timeout when you line up the ice you. And you got to go out there. You got to think about it a little more. It's
Mhm.
it's pressure. It's out there. The pressure is there. So yes, putting it on a rookie is very risky. Putting it on a young player is risky. That's what it's all about. But it's like they say, next man up.
Right.
That's the mentality that has to be kept when it comes down to this. This is pro sports. You're best of the best. You're here because you earned it.
Mhm.
So cause for concern, it can be. It can be a cause for concern. I'm with you, yes and no. But of course, we're in preseason mode right now. We're getting the kinks ironed out for this squad, and we're gonna see. Now, undrafted corner Corey Thornton saw a lot of first team reps
Mhm.
with JC Horn taking the night off FanFest. And Dave Canales and the coaching staff said that they liked what they saw out of this young man, Corey Thornton, who I believe is from UCF. I think he is. He might be. I got to look that up. But
Mhm.
had a lot of first team reps. This defensive backfield is what is a question mark for the Carolina Panthers. So, get a chance to see any of Corey Thornton's, any of his work, and what do you think about that?
I mean, it's always good when you can get another gym. I mean, from all the fanfare, the comments on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. He was playing pretty good against T Mac,
Yes.
which is great for him, concerning for T Mac. But again, these guys have been going against their going against their offense and defense, their own teammates for however long. So they're gonna know how each other plays. Now that's not taking anything against them because having a great uh preseason, off season, whatever, having a great start is great for this team. It's great for this player. He's showing that some of these guys on the team at the end of the bench, don't get too comfortable. That's great. Somebody that could lock up number 8th overall pick. I'm not mad at you. Let him learn behind JC, Mike Jack. Bro, I'm happy about it.
I like that because once again, what I'm going to be looking at when I'm watching the Panthers this year is this defensive backfield. I'm gonna be looking at how they cover because we've talked about it on the show. We've talked about it here. We're in a division with a passer like Baker Mayfield who has been passing the ball very, very well. We don't know what we're gonna get out of Michael Penix Jr. and we don't know who's gonna be starting in New Orleans. We have no idea. It doesn't look good for them. I think in my heart of hearts, they're tanking for Arch Manning. I'll get to that later. I
Ain't got
mean,
nothing going on in New Orleans right
when
now.
you draft like they did, what do you expect?
Not to mention they've been kicking that can every year with a high, very high, just amount of players getting a lot of money. So yeah,
Right, right.
they're yeah, they're in a hole. They're in a
So
big hole.
we don't know, and that's something that has to be understood. Of course, looking at the NFC as well too. The rest of the NFC, looking at the passers, like looking how the Cowboys have upgraded their receiving core and their passing game. Same, the Eagles, of course, have done what they've done. A lot of these teams around the league, of course, they're going to upgrade themselves. And the verdict
Mm-hmm.
is out of who is the toughest quarterback in the NFC because most of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, the top 4 guys are in the AFC, is what's the debate is. So there's brass rings out there that can be grabbed
Mm-hmm.
from Bryce and all the other quarterbacks out there in the NFL. But the main thing is, can we cover the pass? Can we stop the pass? Can we defend these receivers? Because the receiving core is as well too in the NFC South. We have to, we got Drake London out there. I mean, Mike Williams. We've got some proven guys who can play the receiver position. So it's all about we got to cover that pass as well too. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I
Now,
think that front seven is going to be
mhm,
able to help them a lot. That
yes,
front seven, they can get to the quarterback really, or either disrupt him. We're going to see a lot better play from our cornerbacks.
yeah, you've been reading my thoughts because I was about to get into that right there. I was about to get into the pass rush. You've been reading my thoughts, man. I see what you're doing.
We try our best over here.
Because our third rounder, our edge rusher, Princely. Mind me yelling.
Showing off.
What a last name, but what a player Princely was in college. I
Mm-hmm.
really think that Princely was snubbed as a third rounder. I thought that he was second round material. I thought he was. But thankfully, Carolina was able to grab somebody up like Princely Mami Ellen, who I want to say the name of a good bit for years to come. Of course, Princely had that little hit that he had. He rubbed Bryce a little bit and caused that fumble. Now, Dave Canales has liked the physical play during FanFest and during the OTAs and things. You got to be careful. He said he looked at some of the players. And he said you got to be careful when you throw that physicality a little bit. You're gonna get mail from the
Mm-hmm.
NFL. Get that left shoulder around instead of that right shoulder because your head is gonna be involved, and you're gonna be getting
Mm-hmm.
mail from the NFL asking for money if that keeps going. But Princely had a good move on Aquanu. Got past him a little bit in practice.
Mm-hmm.
But that was, of course, you got to remember, that was in shoulder pads, helmets, and shorts. Defensive players are going to shine when it's not
Mm-hmm.
full pads. So when he got in full pads, Hakeem Aquanu had a little bit of fun with him, moved him around a little bit. So I'm looking forward to what this defense can do. I'm looking at what they're going to do. Do you expect a little more of the pass rush to come from this squad this year?
Definitely. In almost every practice video that they've had or people that have watched it, he's been talked about a lot. And I'm excited to see him because I think at the end of the year he might be a player that starts. We haven't seen a lot of Nick Scorton, but that's because he had a hamstring injury and he returned. But obviously they're gonna let him go a little bit slower. He's their second round pick. He's just come back from an injury. Just kind of work him in a bit. But Princely, by all accounts, every practice you hear about a play that he made. Now, the play against Aquanu, he was talking about it on a video that said something along the lines of Aquanu not being as good or whatever. And Princely basically, I'm him. I'm him. Like we we got a player that's that confident in himself, but also takes up for his teammates because he took up for Iquanu. Said he's an NFL left tackle. He's great. I'm just him, dude. Him as a rookie behind Wanham, behind Pat Jones with Nick Scorton. It just seems like it's going to be an entertaining group, if anything. Like I expect, him to have rookie moments. I expect for him to have some teaching lessons. But the way he's been moving around in all these practices and the way his teammates and everybody, Sheena, Quick, Carolina Blitz, all that stuff, the way they talk about him, he's gonna be special. And you get somebody special beside a Derek Brown or beside a Sean Robinson and Bobby Brown the third. This is gonna be amazing. I'm excited.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to it as well too. I like Princely. I like the way he plays. I liked how he played when he was at Ole Miss. Princely can
Mm-hmm.
ball. So I'm thinking
Definitely.
that he will do well with this defense. And of course, you said his name beforehand, Lathan Ransom
Mm-hmm.
and Trayvon Merrick, the way they played at
Mm-hmm.
the safety position. It's going to be interesting to watch them as well too. Once again, we're looking at this defensive backfield. We're looking at what they're going to be doing in this lineup, what they're going to be doing on the defense. But now, before we get out of here, we got to talk about the opposition. We got to talk about Cleveland Browns. Now, I know you've been watching ESPN, and I know that we're going to see a certain person by the name of Shador Sanders
Mm-hmm.
playing at the quarterback position. Oh, the dominoes fell to where Shador Sanders is going to be starting. More than likely, going to be playing. Dylan Gabriel getting hurt. They had to sign another quarterback. And this is going to be fun. Joe Flacco, you're going to see a little bit of Joe Flacco, which more than likely he's going to be starting, but there are people that are projecting the starting of Shador Sanders this year. It is Cleveland after all.
Mm-hmm.
Anything at all that you're wanting to see out of this Panthers team against this Cleveland Browns squad?
A win, first and foremost. But I hope I'm wrong about this. But I feel like Shador Sanders is being set up to fail. I feel like this Cleveland Browns team organization is just the press around Shador just seems like they don't even want him. Like one guy decided to draft him, but we he's ours now. So it's like you don't have any confidence in him, and you put him number 4 on the depth chart and then sign another quarterback in Tyler Huntley, but you're still going to let him start the first preseason game. And it's like, I feel like no matter how good he does, they're going to try to pull some BS on him. So if he doesn't do good, they're going to pull him first chance they get and be like, oh, this is why we didn't want him. I hope that doesn't happen. I sincerely hope it because he's somebody I wish, at some point he might play for the Panthers. Not saying start or anything, but I wouldn't have minded him being a Panther. But that's my low rant. What I want to see from the Panthers and the Cleveland Browns is good competitive football. I don't want to see anybody just lay over or lay down and let the team score. No, actually try to play some good football. Don't worry if you're only playing for one or two series. Go out there and get it. We're going to see injuries, unfortunately. I hope that these guys know that in the game of football, you're going to get hurt. I don't want to see any injuries. It is only preseason. Maybe don't go for such a big hit, but be competitive. Play hard, play smart, and show the NFL as a whole that we're not to be played with. Cleveland already has a bad reputation. We don't have the greatest reputation. Shock some people. I want Shador the ball. I want Bryce the ball. I want Lathan Ransom the ball. I want T Mac the ball. I hope we see a lot of Jimmy Horn. I hope we see a lot of ETN. I want these guys the ball. So that's
Definitely.
what I want to see.
Absolutely. So, one of the things that, I agree with that with Shador Sanders. I think he is a failure. I do believe that. I do believe it. But also, too, I hope that he does well this season. But more than anything, I want the Panthers to do better. Everyone, that is the show for this week. We broke down FanFest. We broke down the practices. Y'all, we are 48 hours away for some football, some Panthers
Mhm.
football. On top of that, we have more looking towards the season. The shows are going to get better. We're going to do more analysis. We're going to be breaking down a little more. We're going to be more in depth this season as we follow it. Week one of the preseason is beginning this weekend. Hopefully, you're ready because we are ready. But for now, you may now exit the cat cave. For more on this show, please stay tuned. We will be live next week again talking about the game that we're going to be seeing on Friday. So stay tuned for more Cat Cave. For Shannon Smith, this is D White. Thank you so much for
Yep.
watching, and we'll see you next week. Go
See
Panthers.
you. Keep pounding.